Welcome to my practical guide on React. My name is Brad Birchie, and I've been a full stack web developer for just about 14 years now. I've been using React for several years, and I've used it on I think every single project that I've done over the last several years. So I've been using it for a very long time, and I think that I can help cut through, um, cut down the learning curve and get you to using features in a practical sense much faster than if, for example, you try to just do this on your own. So use my experience and my knowledge to help you go faster and understand what you need and what you don't need when using React. So this is sort of like a shotgun ride along type of thing. We're going to go through a lot of React things, and then we're going to end up writing some examples and whatnot and showing you how to effectively use React. So the first thing that we want to do here is we want to set up a project. So we're going to be using node.js. We're going to need that installed. So you're going to want to go to node.js.org and install the latest LTS. The current version is V20. I believe on my computer, I'm actually using version 18. That was the previous LTS version. And the reason for that is because there's actually a project that I'm working on right now that needs Node 18, at least make sure that everything still runs exactly as how it should. So I'm not going to install Node v20, but this should work just fine. Either that, or you can go ahead and install an older version of Node.js if you want. But it's pretty simple. You just come here to the home page and then download node.js and then install it like you would any other executable. Okay. So in this project, I think what we're going to do here is I've used this in the past is Vite. Vite is just very simple. Can watch your code and it can recompile it, and it does it very, very fast. We're going to be using TypeScript in this course. So you're going to want to have a basic understanding of TypeScript as well. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started here. And so the editor that I'm going to be using here is IntelliJ IDEA. Any of the JetBrains IDEs, like probably PyCharm or WebStorm or whatever, will work just fine as well. But I think you should be able to follow along as long as you know your editor in any kind of basic way. Like you can set up projects and you understand how to run commands and you understand how to use a command line, like you'll probably be okay. There's nothing that we're doing here that's like ultra super complex. I use IntelliJ IDEA because I believe it's the best editor out there, hands down. So, and I highly encourage you to check out the JetBrains stuff. I think they make a really good quality product and their licensing is pretty good. I would say you can buy a perpetual license and or you pay like on a yearly kind of basis, and then you can keep whatever version you ended up on. And I think that's a really great way in order to sell such a tool such as this. And I've been using the JetBrains IDEs for basically my entire career, and they're pretty good for the most part. Occasionally they release a bad update, but that's not here nor there. I don't know a piece of software that doesn't, but I would highly recommend it. Okay. What I did was I created a new project on GitHub, and then I just imported it in here. And then created a new project from that. So we have our .idea directory. That's going to be all your configuration stuff for IntelliJ IDEA, or you might have another different kind of folder here if you're using one of the other IDEs of any kind. So I know for sure, like Visual Studio Code creates a different directory here, and so on and so forth. And then we just have a basic license in here, which is an MIT license that says, hey, you can use it for whatever you want, and a basic ID. Now, I like to have all my code to be formatted. And so I have an editor config file that's going to be in here. And we're just going to run through this real quick. So root means true. This is our root editor config. And so we're going to have a max line length of 80, end line of line feed. So typically whenever I'm doing any kind of coding for development work, or web development of any kind, whether it's front end or back end, I'm always using line feed. If you're not familiar with how that works, there are basically a few different line endings. So I think if we go into settings here and we go to line separator here, So if you come down here into editor, into code styles, you see that we have the option of system dependent. Unix and Mac OS use just like this new line character, and Windows uses actually two characters for a new line, and that's the return and the new line character. Um, and generally speaking, especially if you're going to end up deploying onto any kind of like Linux system, you always want to use new line, just this new line option here, and that'll be set, and that's what this means here. This LF. Next up, we have char set UTF-8. This just makes sure that, especially if you use like not basic English characters, that your character set will show up correctly. So this is usually the right choice for basically everything. Our indent style is going to be space. It's going to be 2 spaces. And then just we want to make sure we're trimming off all our excess white space at the end of a line. So if you have like a line here and then there's a space, it'll just automatically remove any kind of spaces that are after the end of the line. It just keeps your code file down, so in size. And then insert final new line false. I haven't figured out a reason why you need a new line at the end of a file, so false it is. And then last but not least here, we're going to also be having prettier.json in here, or prettier. Prettier is a package, which just formats your code as you can go along, and we can set it up inside of IntelliJ products to just format our code for us, and it just keeps things clean. So as a professional, I like to have very clean code. I like to have very readable code. What you'll see is that I am very verbose in my code. Like, I don't like to shorthand a lot. Here and there I do. But I try to keep things as consistent and verbose as I can within reason. As I like to say it, I have rules, but I also break every single rule that I have, and we'll just kind of go across that as we go. All right. So, I think that gets us basically set up. So our prettier thing here, our config file, all we're saying is that we want to make sure that we have single attributes per line. We'll talk about that probably more later. That might not make a ton of sense to you right now. And then we have single quote, and it just makes sure that, like, when we're writing JavaScript and whatever, that we're getting mostly single quotes unless we're specifically putting in double quotes for some reason or another. So yeah, that's good. Let's go ahead and get started here. So let's go ahead and create a new Vite project.